Everybody. Peace and blessings to you. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, whatever time you are watching this video. For me, it is morning, and this is what I will call a morning vibes video. I usually have videos that I call early morning thoughts, but this is more a vibration check video where I'm going to share with you the energy that I'm feeling. I'm going to share a little bit of my emotions, and I'm going to probably just express some feelings to help me to calm down a little bit. I'm using one of my favorite teas, which I've only ever seen on Amazon. It is the Hyley's Calm Tea with ashwagandha and honey lavender. It's like one of my favorite teas. It's called Calm Tea. And I drink a cup of calm tea when I feel extra not calm, not cool, not chill, not happy. The vibes aren't feeling very good. And honestly, I don't know 100% sweetener. I don't know 100% why the vibes aren't feeling good this morning. I know that I got up way too early. I got up around 3. And I just got up to start the day, and I don't know, just today already I didn't feel light. I didn't feel at peace. I didn't feel calm. I just felt, I don't know, just not great. My body at the moment feels a little tender because I'm trying to exercise. I'm trying to get into some exercising consistency and trying to get myself into the practice of taking better care of my body, taking better care and feeling better and feeling stronger and fitter. And it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do, but I'm trying my best. So my muscles feel tender. All right, so this tea bag says, the man who has confidence in himself gains the confidence of others. And that is a Hasidic proverb or something like that, whatever. Okay, so I'm looking through the window at what I can see. One of the things I love about my location, my home, this room, is the view. I've always desired views, always desired nice views, always wanted to look out the window and see something beautiful, to see nature. I would rather see nature and see beauty of Mother Earth than to look outside and see road and cars and street and other houses and all that. That's why I definitely prefer and would pursue with everything that I've got to live in nice spaces that are kind of like not in a city, that is surrounded by nature. And for me, I've been so blessed and privileged to have been able to do that in my last 2 homes. And in between there, in the transition period, and I've told this story in a video I recorded recently. In the transition period, I had to go back into the city, and I felt the difference. I recognized the difference. I felt the difference. I felt the difference of how it affected my body, how it affected my mental health, how it affected my aura and my energy. And I could tell you, if I could help it, I would rather not live in that energy on a consistent basis. I would try to avoid that energy because it's just not for me. As an empath, and an energy, somebody that absorbs energy, it is just not for me. So what I'm feeling today is I'm feeling, let me just show you my teacup. The same teacup. I bought this for this is my 2025 teacup. If I always wanted to be a teacup collector and have my own different set of teacups. One of my dreams one time was to have a little cafe, and in the cafe you know, there would be all kinds of teacups with like inspirational teacups and just teacups of all types. And people that come to the cafe would just choose the teacup, whatever vibes they're feeling on that given day, choose the teacup that they want, make their cup of tea, sit down, have their cup of tea and their tea treats, you know, whatever that is, their little breakfast, their tea treats, and just sit in, you know, calm and that kind of like cafe vibes energy. I've always wanted to do something like that. And the next best thing is to maybe have a home where I have my own teacup collection, you know, and I could just choose the vibes that I'm in and pick the teacup that I want to drink my tea. And it's the next best thing after that is doing these. Maybe do more tea talks, you know, conversation. My mom does tea talks. My mom makes her own teas, her own herbal teas. I love my mom's tea talks. And, you know, do my own version of a tea talk. If I could find my community, if I could eventually build some sort of community, if it's possible to do this on a regular basis. There's this creator online that I love watching her videos every once in a while, who has the kind of vibes that I'm thinking when I think about the videos that I would like to do on, you know, morning videos where we just do like a vibes check and we have conversation, we talk about things, you know, we determine how different mornings have different vibes and different feelings and different energies, and maybe we could get down to the bottom of why we're feeling the way we're feeling on any given morning. Obviously using my own life, my own personal experience as reference, you know, for other people to vibes check their own mornings and how they're feeling on any given morning and why they're feeling that way. Does it have something to do with what they were thinking about the night before? Does it have something to do with the things that they did as soon as they opened their eyes? Or did they open their eyes and look at their phone immediately and saw some stuff that really brought the vibration down? You know, is it the energy that you surround, you know, like of people around you? Is it something you watched the night before? You know, what is the reason that you feel the way you feel on any given morning? You know, this is why for me personally, I would love for this venture, this thing that I'm trying to do, this community that I'm trying to build, to work out, because I love living in the flow. I would love the opportunity to make a living, to find ways to make a living doing what I love, which is helping, which is living in flow, just living my life. Like, how wonderful would it be to have the opportunity to find ways to earn a living, you know, to sustain yourself, just by being yourself, just by being your natural, authentic self, living your natural, authentic life, living in the energy and the vibes that comes naturally, you know, just living life and advising and inspiring and helping. I admire people who have managed to build that community. You know, there's this lady that I followed on Instagram. What was her name? Sharon Say So, and she would have all kinds of conversations. We would do makeup videos, and her account had all kinds of different vibes, and she used her platform to raise money to help others and to help organizations and to do things. And that is my dream. That is my dream of living authentically, being genuine, being real, telling the story of my life, telling the story of my experience. Because, you know, if you may be asking, what makes this girl so special? I gotta tell you, I may not be any more special than anybody else, but I could tell you this: I am a rare personality type, an INFJ empath. You know, INFJ empath is a 1 to 3%. They don't have the exact percentage, but one in between, like the average is 2% personality type. It's the rarest personality type. We are lonely people. I don't have very many friends, and even with the couple of friends I have, the 2 friends or the 3 friends I have, and I'm including my mother in that, you know, I have one friend that isn't family, my husband and my mom, 3 friends. So in the 3 friends that I have, even by them, to a certain extent, not all the time, but even by them, I feel misunderstood at times. I feel like I'm trying to tell you something and you're not hearing me. You're not getting what I'm really trying to say. You're not understanding me. This is kind of like why I hated school. Being among people was difficult for me because I had to bring my level down, and not my level as in I'm looking down at people or I feel like I'm the smartest person in the room. I'm talking about my vibes, my energy, the way how I see life, my perspective. I had to kind of be a chameleon and blend into the environment, which is another feature of an INFJ, is that we're very good at doing that. Blend into the environment so we could like seem as though we fit in. We're really and truthfully we don't. Really and truthfully, we are just being kind, so to keep the harmony and the vibes at peace, and to, you know, not rock the boat or not, you know, make ourselves big for the sake of making ourselves big, you know. So an INFJ is a rare personality type. So along with that, there's just these natural perspectives that I have. I'm an intuitive, which is a part of the feature of being an INFJ. An INFJ. I'm very, very intuitive. My intuition is very strong. My discernment is my superpower, which is another reason why I didn't have a lot of people in my life. And the people that I did have in my life, a lot of the people just pass on through because they can last. Because I realized that, okay, you are not serving, you don't serve, no, I'm wording it wrong. Your time in my life has come to an end. You know, you have served the purpose of the season that you were meant to be a part of my life and a part of my journey. And no, our friendship, I was trying to figure out how to word it, because I don't want to say you no longer serve me, because it's not your job, it's not anybody's job to serve me. Our friendship, our connection no longer serves me moving forward into the path that I'm on. You know, this is where you stay and I have to continue on my path. I can't stay here with you. I have to continue on my journey wherever I'm heading, you know. And throughout the course of my life, I've had to do that so many times. The people just never really stuck for the long haul. Just those 3 people: my husband, my friend, and, you know, my mom. You know, I would have added my dad to that list if my dad had been able to stay here longer. But my dad left me. My dad, he left us. He left our planet. You know, he's not here anymore. He died at 63, actually, or 62. Actually, the anniversary of his death probably passed. It was in April. You know, I forgot when. I don't know. I think it was April Fool's or something. I think his funeral was April 16th. And, you know, don't judge me because I'm like not really too sure about those dates, because those dates are unimportant. The point is that he left. He left, and I believe he left in 2021. And his funeral, when by the time they had the funeral, that was just a body. That was nothing. That was not him. You know, he was unrecognizable. You know, and I didn't get to go to the funeral because the funeral was in a different country, and I didn't get to go. I got to watch it on YouTube, right? through the funeral service that my stepmother used, you know. And the thing is, the unfortunate thing is that I didn't really have a relationship with anybody else in my dad's family. My stepmom and my sister and my siblings, we don't have a relationship, so we didn't get to continue or maintain a continued relationship after he passed, you know, because I feel extremely misunderstood by them, you know. Except I think that my brother would have been, we could have, because he's the one that I did not feel judged by, but I felt judged by and misunderstood by my stepmom and my sister, to be honest. I don't know if that is, if we were having a conversation, if my stepmom and my sister was sitting at the table, what they would say to that feeling, because we didn't address that feeling, but I did feel judged and misunderstood by them and unable to continue a relationship, even though I did try at one point. My brother, on the other hand, I feel like he would have given me a shot, and he doesn't judge me. But again, we're just different people. My little brother, my youngest brother, you know, we're just different people. So we're not in the same, at the same level of anything to really maintain a relationship. So I don't know why I shared all of that for, but we're just talking, just having a morning chat, you know, so that I could just calm my spirit and feel okay again, you know. So I'm looking out through the window, and the sun is a little bit higher in the sky. And I think I remember starting this thought saying that that's one of the reasons that I love living here. I don't know if I went off before I finished that point, but the view from my window is very, very nice. My serenity room window, I am able to see the sun rise in the most beautiful manner. Yesterday I took a beautiful picture of the sky. Yesterday morning it was gorgeous. There was clouds in the sky and a little bit of pink and orange, and just the photo did not do it justice, but even in the photo it was lovely, you know. And I can see the moon and the stars when I'm here at night. The view from this window is just exquisite, and I am so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that. So I'm already starting to feel better. I'm already starting to feel lighter. My spirit is already starting to feel calmer. And I don't think it's the tea. I think it's the talking. I think it's the talking. And like I shared with you, I dream someday of building a community where my INFJ personality type stories and experiences, and my intuitive perspective, and my millennial perspective, and my mom perspective, my homeschooling, home managing mom perspective, my immigrant living in the US perspective, and all the little parts that I love to tell you about myself. I think those are little important personality types that tells a story of the perspective that I have and why I see the world the way I see the world. And this channel is about helping, not being popular or having a big account or going viral. To be honest with you, I even fear going viral. Maybe it's my own mental space that holds me back from going viral, because I'm afraid to draw a lot of energy to me. To be honest, if I could just have this intimate, gentle growth of my account and actually find people who like the sound of my voice and like my stories and love my energy and love my vibes and don't mind going in with the flow with me as we go through different things, different days, you know, different energies, different days. Because some days I feel like a butterfly, and other days I feel like a butterfly whose wings feel a little bit heavy, you know, kind of butterfly just staying still, one that needs to stay still, not fly around, and not just, you know, feeling heavy, feeling the heaviness of the moment. And I have to say that the only times that I feel the heaviness of this moment, of this timeline, is when I go online and I learn about things that are beyond my control. You know, there's a lot of people that talk about a lot of things, and I listen. I listen to different types of people. I say this all the time. I listen to different types of people, different days, different moods, different focuses. I focus on one kind of energy at a time, and what I click on, what I pay attention to, has a lot to do with what I'm feeling, where my mind's at, my head's at, my emotions are at on that particular day. So this morning I clicked on more political type videos talking about things like along the lines of how bad it is. It's really bad, and I have an awareness of that. I sometimes I feel so stupid putting out things that are such a big contrast to the dark energy, the dark stuff, the dark topics, the world's burning, everything's on fire. We need to get out. We need to be safe. This is what we need to do to stop the fire. This, all that kind of stuff. I feel a little silly not talking like that anymore. Not, putting out things that are a contrast to it. Even as I do have awareness, for me, when I look outside, I don't see the world on fire. I see the sun rising up into the sky between the trees that are budding, and a quiet backyard, and I don't see a world that's on fire. I see the sun shining on my face. I see the shadows and the light. I see how bright I look right now in this video, because the sun is shining right at me, But then I go on the internet and social media, on YouTube, and I'm reminded that the world is on fire around me, and bad people are doing very, very, very bad things. And I don't feel called to talk about them constantly and feed into that attention and energy that they so badly desire they need to feed on to grow and become bigger and bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger and stronger and more powerful. The egregore that we were talking about, if you watch our videos, the egregore is the term for it that I just recently learned. I don't feel called to do that. I feel called to speak about the contrast, to speak about beautiful things, to talk about gentle things and loving things, and to add some magic and light to a new earth vision of a 5D timeline. I'm just going to use words that people use: the golden age, they call it all kind of things, the bright future, a better future. I feel called to show the contrast, and talk about things that are different, and continue to grow and build this community and find my people and build a community that will be a part of the pursuit of the better world and the better future, and I'll finish this up before it gets too cold. Let me just pause for 1 second while I process my thoughts, so that I lost my train of thought. Honestly, I can't get back on track where my thinking is concerned. So I'm just going to say this. I am thankful. I am thankful. I am working on, I'm working on building for that future, creating for that future that I believe is coming. Because I believe that we're in a season of revelation, and I am working on creating and learning as I can, listening and testing that faith. I was always a woman of faith, even if I wasn't, even if I really wasn't a woman of religion. I did religion because that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of like what I learned, but I never even felt comfortable. I remember long ago I wrote a thing where I said, I wrote a post when I was doing blogs where I said I'm not a Christian, right? And I think I was never a religion. I was never a religious person. I was never into the church in that way. I just tried because I was a woman of faith. I believed in a higher power, and I believed in what the whole concept of Jesus and what he represented, and the fact that he represented things like love and forgiveness and generosity and a whole bunch of stuff. I just kind of heard somebody use the term Jesus, our Savior, and I did not feel comfortable with it. I didn't, because now I've come to a different opinion about a Savior and what religion taught us about us having a Savior, an external Savior. Now I kind of starting to feel as though the Savior was actually us. We are the saviors. We are the heroes. We are the ones that, bring ourselves out of the dump when our vibration is low. We work on raising our vibration. We work on bettering ourselves and bringing ourselves to where we want to be. Because my vibration was a little bit low. I wasn't feeling great when I started this video, and I didn't have to say prayers to feel better. I just took different steps to feel better, because how I see prayer, my relationship with prayer is that I do pray, but my relationship with prayer, sometimes I talk my prayers, I say my prayers verbally, but not much. My relationship with prayer and understanding with prayer is that I feel like I'm always praying, because every time I'm having a conversation with myself, I'm having a conversation with the higher power. I'm having a conversation with my higher self and my source, the source inside of me, my source of spiritual being, just being alive. I'm having a conversation. Every time I'm having a conversation in my head, every time I'm thinking and feeling, it's a prayer and a conversation. Where I set my mind is me saying my prayers. If I set my mind to, I want a better future for us, for humanity, that's where my prayers are. If I'm setting my mind to saying that sun is so absolutely gorgeous, then I'm setting my mind to gratitude and appreciation for how beautiful the sun is, and my relationship with Mother Earth, my relationship with my home, my planet. If I'm thinking, because this is where my mind was at this morning, is thinking about my body. My body don't feel as great as I would like it to be. It's so much hard work to just get. I'm trying to lose weight, and my reason for trying to lose weight is not for the whole I want to be sexy and I want to look a certain way factors. It's more like I want to feel a certain way. I want to feel lighter and healthier and stronger, and I want what doesn't serve me, the extra weight on my body, off my body, so that I could be lighter on my feet, and stronger and feel better. So when I'm having a conversation about my body, then I'm making requests. I'm making my requests known. I don't know if I feel as though I have to literally call a thing by its name to be praying. you know, the like, dear God, or Heavenly Father. Do I actually have to call a thing by a name to be praying? Because I just feel like my relationship with Source, Spirit, Universe, the higher power, the divine, the I am, is deeper than that. It is energetic. Is energetic. It is beyond words. It is beyond me saying it. Is feeling. It is where my mind and my spirit is at. You know, where my focus is. That's how I feel it. How I feel it is. No, I keep saying consistently that my channel is the Teacher Learns Life, because I feel like I'm evolving and learning, and I don't know if my ideas are the end all be all. I want to find out. I want to explore them. I want to find out. I want to find out. And here's what I'm going to say at the end of my days, or the end of, or in the process. I'm going to say to you, I don't know what's going to work for you, but this is what worked for me. I don't know what's the right way for you to do things, or what's the right thing for you to believe, but this is what I've believed, and this is how that thought process worked out for me. That is how I want to do my whole purpose and life and platform. That's how I want to serve. That's how I want to help. I want to put my body in. I don't just want to say it. I want to be it. You know, and if I say it, I'm going to be it. If I believe it, I'm going to do it. If I'm going to focus on that. I'm going to work on that. You know, but I'm not going to say anything that I'm not going to live or do. I'm not going to just believe something and just do the complete opposite. You know, so as I've said time and time again, I want to be an example and live by an example, and we learn together. And as I edit my videos, I see flaws in the things that I say. You know, there's flaws in my videos. There's me tripping up on my words, or me reading something and then me saying it wrong, and then you know, me making a correction in real time in the recording, and and yet still I feel called to leave those things in. So like I said, my videos are lightly edited. They're very lightly edited, because I just feel like every little thing matters, you know? I feel like even the imperfections matter. And I want to be strong enough to show my imperfections. And I could tell you one thing. One thing I want to share for you to know is that one of my shadow things, one of my challenges is fear of rejection. It's not a huge problem. I allow myself to be rejected. I just don't like how it feels. I hate how it feels, and I'll try to avoid it if I can. Fear of being rejected, fear of rejection. So when I post a video, I feel sick to my stomach because I'm worried, or I don't want to put more emotion to it than really exists. But there's some times where I don't feel confident in a video, and confident in the fact that the algorithm is going to get that video out to people, and people are going to click on it and give it a shot. I feel confident in its worth, but not confident that I know how to get it out, or for it to reach the right people, or whatever. And you know, I fear feeling rejected. I fear putting something out that I love, something quality and that I believe in, and then having it not received by many people. You know, I don't like how that feels. And every time I post, I am faced with facing a shadow, facing a challenge. I don't know what the right word is. Facing an issue that makes me uncomfortable every single time I post. You know, and there's times where I have big conversations and mental debates about my posts. Should I have posted that? You know, I could have probably not posted that. You know, like blah 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 blah. And you know what? I don't listen. I don't listen because I have them all the time. So if I listen to that voice, then I might sabotage myself more often than not. So I choose not to sabotage myself. I choose to look at it differently, as in I'm sowing a seed and then I'm gonna let the seed do what it does. That's how I choose to look at it. That's my thought process where that's concerned. So anyway, I wanted to do another recording, so I don't want to fill up my phone with videos and then I can't do it. I want to do another recording talking about these two tarot cards that I pulled today. I don't know, sometimes when my emotions are in certain states, I feel called to pull them just out of curiosity, see what will come out. And if what comes out, what I pull, is in tune with where I'm at mentally and what I'm feeling. So I want to talk about these two cards and how they apply to my day and to my morning and what I'm feeling, the energy I'm feeling. This is a Knight of Pentacles and Queen of Swords. And this is from the Light Seers deck, the Light Seers Tarot. And I will have to say with it, that I'm just like wanting to learn more about these cards and these decks and this deck particularly. And it's just a thing to do right now, a fun thing to do. It's not with the intention of becoming a tarot reader or somebody that you could rely on to pull cards and to give you my interpretation, because I don't do that. There's no interpretation. I just look at the image and tell you what I feel in the image, but there's no interpretation of the cards. I don't do that. It's not my thing. So if you enjoy this video, please remember to subscribe and to comment and to like and to share and to assist with the algorithm, help me to get out there, because what you're doing when you do that is that you are helping a helper be even more a helper. Help me build my community so that I could be a helper, because I promise you, if I'm able to do this, I will use my platform to make the world a better place in whatever way that I can. Even though it might seem as though this channel is just about talking about me, it's not just about talking about me because I like to hear the sound of my voice or I like to talk about me. It is about talking about me to be an inspiration, a teacher. We learn together, we and to just share my intuition and see if it helps in some way. It's with the intention of being a helper. And the sun is a little bit higher and I feel a lot better. And thank you for hearing me out and being a listening ear this morning. I hope you really did enjoy this video. Peace and blessings, and we'll see when it gets posted, because the next week's going to be interesting. It is the week of April 20th to the 26th, or April 19th to the 26th. There's protests on April 19th. 20th is Easter Sunday. This is a very early Easter Sunday. Then this week there's Earth Day and Arbor Day, and I love those two days, day of focus. And it's just going to be an interesting week, and I look forward to seeing what this week has in store, this upcoming week, next week, has in store for us. People have some fears attached to this week as well, so we'll see how it goes. Peace and blessings and a lot of love. Thanks for watching.